Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to UGC Season 10, Week 3. Tonight we're going to be bringing you an intermediate league game, D.I.R.T versus 4House. And, as always, it'll be yours truly, Magnum Phoenix, with my co-host and co-caster, Benny Buckeye. How's it going, Benny?
It's going pretty well. Going to be having a great intermediate division game tonight with D.I.R.T going against 4House. D.I.R.T coming in with a little bit of an SR advantage, so 4House taking up the very honorable underdog role. 4House 1-1 on the season. D.I.R.T 1.5 and 0, so currently undefeated. So adding a little bit to 4House's underdog role tonight.
Definitely looking at that position where they're going to be fighting an uphill battle. However, we've casted both of these teams before, and both of them have looked particularly strong. In the past, I've seen on the side of D.I.R.T, Jack perform very well. I'm a fellow Diva main, and so on that off-tank role, Jack does some pretty good stuff. We've seen some big bombs from him. And 4House, I believe... well, actually, we may have casted a different team of theirs, but name is definitely familiar. So we definitely saw 9. We've definitely casted 9 OW before. So I believe he's the main tank player.
As we're not seeing Poussey, the leader of D.I.R.T, out here this time, so that is interesting. Traditionally, they've played Reinhardt, so I don't know who they're going to be slotting into the main tank role tonight. So that'll be something to look at.
Definitely. But hopefully, even with a sub in, they'll be able to keep their team cohesion. And if not, then maybe the chink in the armor that 4House needs as that underdog to be able to take the victory this evening and break D.I.R.T's perfect record. Like you said, 1.5 to 0, so they won a game and then got a forfeit or something like that. So both teams looking pretty strong at the beginning of the season. 4House definitely wants to keep this, keep their record positive, and so if they're able to win tonight, they'll go 2-1, and that'd be a good place to be in Week 3.
And it would. We're a little bit delayed here tonight. Some technical issues going on in the background, but I think we should be getting underway pretty soon. There's some host issues here, but as long as we're talking, how's everyone in the chat doing tonight? I know you'll see this in like a minute and a half, but you know what? I might as well get the ball rolling.
Get the figurative Hammond going in the chat. Wind up those hamster wheels.
Hold this thought.
I guess while we're waiting, we can talk about the map pool a little bit. This week's map pool will start out on Oasis, move to Paris, and then if there's a third map, Hollywood, and if there was any ties or overtime, go to Lijiang Tower. You have a fairly nice mix of different style team compositions that could be run on each Oasis. Definitely a pardon the pun, but a garden for goats there. Definitely going to be looking at a lot of tank heavy compositions, quick fast death balls. On Paris, we definitely expect to see some bunker compositions there, people pulling out the Bastion Baptiste Arisa combo. And then Hollywood, if you make it that far, you could really do a hybrid of them. We see bunker compositions on Hollywood first point, and then, you know, as you move on through Streets phase, you could even see a little bit more mobility, dive heroes, Winstons, Genjis, Pharaohs, something like that. And lastly, Lijiang would be a similar repeat to Oasis. You'll have that control point style going.
And I think we are finally underway, and we are. Good to know.
Alrighty, rolling into Oasis here. This first point here, lots of high ground and lots of chances for rotations. Another interesting part about this map is that whoever takes the first fight will generally be able to hold on to the point. It takes a long time to flip the point. So whoever wins that first team fight usually has a pretty good advantage. They can stall out the point as the enemy team is trying to rotate back in. They can kind of do their own stalls, rotate spawns in and out. So definitely be looking for the first fight advantage here on this point of Oasis.
And we already have a let's go D.I.R.T in the chat. So there's D.I.R.T being the favorites to win yet again. And looks like we're going to be seeing a bit of a dive composition. And I don't know what to call that composition. 1 tank, 2 healers, 3 DPS. Something to that effect.
It looks like the side of 4House will be running pretty dive-heavy composition. It's almost a variation on the quad DPS that we see on the side of 4House. Maybe next time running that Sombra, which is so critical here. And Billiam on the Sombra for 4House. So if they can get some key hacks off, that could determine the tide.
Definitely could, but we see a little bit of a hack right there, but doesn't really pay any dividends. Emotions Deb shoots down Storm. Tactician is demacked by maybe next time Tasty goes down, so things kind of, sort of trading out fairly evenly so far. There's no real side getting major advantage, but it looks like 4House is finally going to take this point, and they do.
4House had an extremely good early pick there. Billiam was able to hack the Hammond of Jack, and the entirety of 4House pretty much collapsed on him. So that was a great play there. Kind of opened up that first point for 4House to take, and they're up to 15% before D.I.R.T even gets back to the objective here.
And it looks like they're going to get quite a few more percentage. 4House deciding, or pardon me, D.I.R.T deciding to hang out kind of a little bit in the back line and not actually push into combat on site. And with Jack, their only tank, going down, that's going to make their lives even harder. Jiraiya does find 9-Ow, and Cappy in turn shoots Jiraiya. Tactician is demacked. So opportunities do exist for D.I.R.T to push in, and they're slowly capitalizing on them. Onslaught, who we've seen be an absolute terror on the Genji before this season, goes down. It looks like 4House still has the larger presence on the point.
4House definitely holding strong here, and that's what I was talking about with being able to stay on the point and stall it out. Even though the kills are rolling both ways, and D.I.R.T is committing a lot of ultimates to it, they're not able to take the point yet.
Onslaught pops the Dragon Blade and does find maybe next time and Storm. D.I.R.T is going to be fully stalled out after that and going to have most of their team be reset. And, with 83, 84, 85% ticking up for 4House, things aren't going D.I.R.T's way.
Yeah, D.I.R.T's going to be walking into a brick wall here as well in the form of Billiam's EMP that will go off at any second now. But for the meantime, a couple kills rolling in.
And it's not going to be enough. Jiraiya pops their ultimate, but only manages to find the Lucio, who, with their dying breath, kills their own killer in return. D.I.R.T does have numbers on the point right now, but overtime is ticking away. Jack manages to push a couple of back, but I don't know if they're going to be able to concentrate enough. They do find 2 picks. They do have the numbers advantage on the point, but that purple is gigantic. Fortunately for D.I.R.T, 2, 3, 4 begin to fall, and this is going to be it. They are going to turn the point back over, and it's 99-0, and things are picking up for D.I.R.T.
D.I.R.T finally able to get a foothold after a very sloppy fight there, trying to clean everything up. And the one advantage that they have now is they're going to be having a couple ultimates in order to hold off. The most critical is going to be the EMP from maybe next time. Onslaught has that Dragon Blade up, and Cappy's getting very close to a nano boost. Those will be a deadly combination, but maybe next time deciding to pop that EMP early.
The EMP, I don't think, caught out nearly as many people as they had hoped, and now 9-Ow comes in on a tear and takes down 2. The Diva Bomb find it. finding absolutely no one. He takes down 3 for the triple kill, and the point is turned just like that back over to the hands of 4House, who is continuing to find picks. Overtime is going to tick away, and 4House is going to secure the objective.
Looks like 4House took the fight right on point there, and they were able to kind of have that numbers advantage on point, while the players of D.I.R.T were kind of scattered all over the place. D.I.R.T had a position on high ground, over on the side a little bit, and maybe they were trying to focus down maybe next time's EMP, which was in the back a little bit. So ended up 4House just rotates onto point and takes it with sheer numbers, and then once they're in control, they can play however they.
Moving on to the second map here, Billiam has elected to bring out the McCree, so not really a dive comp. Looks fairly standard. It's a 2-2-2 over on the side of 4House, and then nothing has changed over on the side of D.I.R.T. They're bringing out almost exactly the same composition that they tried last time, and they're all hanging out in spawn, giving 4House all the defensive advantages that they possibly can. So
D.I.R.T makes a good call there, switching to goats, because they see that McCree, instantly swap off the Pharah and decide to go goats. They're able to get back to the point even before the point switches. Unfortunately, it's going to be a purple grenade that catches Zan out. Tactician taking him down there.
Well, I guess there's the first dividend that you're going to see. Maybe next time takes down Tactician in vengeance for his fallen comrade. Jiraiya is shot next by Onslaught. Onslaught with a double kill before Storm finally brings them down on the Zarya. And we do see Nino on the Winston. Takedown maybe next time. And the 4House has managed to capture the point. Now, slowly, we're up to 22%. And this is pretty much the same thing that we saw happen last map. 4House takes early control of the point. I think Graviton actually might be able to do some dividends if they start swinging into it, but they don't. They do finally find 2. Emotions and Billion go down. Tactician gone, Onslaught gone, and there it is. D.I.R.T finally finding the momentum and swinging the point back to their control. And now let's see if we see any switches come in from 4House.
So that there was an excellent example of why goats was the right call, but it was just like a little bit late. Like you said, they were in spawn for just a second too long, and the point flipped over. Eventually, they won the point, and you know that's the advantage of goats there. But they cost 40% of the points. So bit unfortunate.
Oh boy, Onslaught doing things, finds Tasty. The bomb goes in and takes down Onslaught in the middle of his blade. That's the best Diva Bomb you could hope for in that situation right there, given the terror that Onslaught can be with his ultimate up. And while this contest is still going on, slowly D.I.R.T is losing players, but they still have control of the point and are probably going to at least match the 42% of 4House, and they do, but 4House now takes it back, reclaiming their position on the central objective.
In terms of ultimates rolling up for this next fight, the goats ultimates on the side of D.I.R.T are going to be coming online here. You got that Graviton almost built back up again. You got the Shatter on maybe next time. And if he could land a big Shatter with the mind games against Nino. Oh, and he does! This could turn the tide here. A nice defensive bomb from Tactician to kind of prevent too much swinging for maybe next time. And the kills are rolling in as 4House decides to commit ultimates to clean up this fight.
Jack not quite able to get away there. Onslaught beams them. And that's as close as you're going to get to a team kill without actually getting a team kill. And 4House up to almost 90%. They do only have 1 ultimate compared to the 3 of D.I.R.T, and they're nearing a 4th as well with Jiraiya on the rally. The Shatter doesn't find anybody. The Graviton Surge is eaten by Tactician. And that's not what you want if you're D.I.R.T at all. Tactician takes down Jack out of his neck as well. Things not going the way of D.I.R.T at all. Another Graviton comes in. That Shatter is going to buy them some time, but not enough. Maybe next time falls. So does Tasty. Overtime slowly beginning to tick down. Zan remains, and so does Jack. But I don't know if they're going to be enough. William kills Storm. Jack is demeched and destroyed. So too down goes Zan. And before the stall can come in, 4House takes map 1 of the evening.
4House with an impressive display there. Honestly, things were looking a little rough when the initial Goats setup came out, but they were able to swing it back. We'll take a look at the Brigitte. Jiraiya here swinging onto this Graviton Surge, able to finally capitalize in this this fight.
That was a nice left shift under the Genji there.
Yeah, it really was. Storm dealing a massive amount of his team's damage, 30%. Bad. That's what you get for running both Soldier and Zarya. Some high damage characters. Definitely able to output that consistent DPS onto the enemy team, which is exactly what you need when you're fighting, say, against a Goats composition.
Peep the Lucia though with 49% kill participation.
Definitely not something you expect.
Alright, so moving on from Oasis, we are going to be heading to Paris, it looks like, for wrapping things up on Hollywood. I think we having some trouble again. Seems to be the story of the evening so far. Yeah, well, taking a look at the chat real quick. Are these console or PC? These are PC players. One and all, to my knowledge. Does UGC have a console league?
I do not believe that UGC has a league for console Overwatch, but I know there are some competitive Overwatch leagues on console, but the majority of the stuff is on PC. And I know it's a little bit difficult to tell if you're spectating through a casting point of view because there's no keys like left shift for abilities or something like that.
Let's see, 4House, easy pick, 4-head. Is that the joke? 4-head, 4House?
Yeah. 4House is like a variation.
I was trying to make a Game of Thrones reference the other day, House 4House, but it was a little bit difficult to work in there. But if I find the opportunity, I'll definitely do it.
Oh man, I'm super scuffed right now. I apologize. Production quality is suboptimal.
Oh dear, what have you done?
Just trying to get the scores correct. But we're back. 4House with the 1-0 lead over D.I.R.T right now. Everyone's still on the correct teams. 4House red side, D.I.R.T blue side. And here on Hollywood, like I was mentioning a little bit before in the break, or before we started the matches, you could see some bunker compositions. However, we're not going to be seeing that here, and instead, D.I.R.T electing to run a more standard Goat setup. They felt a little bit more comfortable on Goats. Even though they lost that second point of Oasis, they did feel more comfortable on it. And here you go. We're going to see the Scout come in, and 4House going to be swapping over. We're going to see some good old-fashioned Goats v. Goats, Benny.
I sigh in disappointment. However, at this point in time, this is probably what's going to benefit the teams most, and holy cats, maybe next time, with absolutely no regard for his own life, leads the drop down off of the high ground. The entirety of their team behind them. Storm finds a triple kill. Real quick, Tasty takes out his counterpart, Cappy, on the Zenyatta, and D.I.R.T drives 4House all the way back into spawn without taking a single loss and taking very little damage, all things considered.
And that is one of the hallmarks of a great Goats team, is that they have commitment and decisiveness. When you're able to drop onto the enemy team like that, your entire team follows. It's gonna make the fights real easy for you.
Now getting down to about half health, and they're trying to focus him down, and they finally do. Storm takes out the Reinhardt. Main tank is down, and immediately 4House is starting to kind of pull back not willing to commit anything else to that fray, but D.I.R.T showing some extreme aggression. Says, we're not going to let you escape without taking a few more casualties. And they find 2, maybe 3 more if they do lose Jiraiya in the process. But I don't know if Jiraiya's going to have time to get back before the next team fight starts.
Doesn't look like it, and it's going to be a disadvantage of 5v6 here, and it's up to maybe next time.
Shatter is huge!
He lands a big shatter, but there's no follow-up on it. And it looks like the D-Mech is coming through. D.I.R.T still committing ultimates here, and Jack finds 2 with that bomb.
Now got booped. Now got absolutely booped, I think, by Jiraiya as he was standing on top of the cart and wasn't able to get his shield up to protect himself in time. And in turn, the Diva Bomb destroyed the main tank and took 1 more with it. So D.I.R.T firmly in control of their defensive point yet again.
Jiraiya with the 300 IQ brain there, being able to use those Briggs CCs in order to take down the main tank. Impressive stuff. That's what you want to see from Brigitte. Whole bunch of ultimates.
Dual gravitons, dual transcendences, and no one dies because of it. Jiraiya is taken down yet again. Barrier is broken, and Nino is taken down. Onslaught, D-Mex, Jack. So fair, even trades coming in so far. They got to be careful for that Diva Bomb. It does find Zen, and maybe next time it's taken down. And now we see 4House digging in their heels and taking the point.
Yeah. When we saw maybe next time go down to that Diva Bomb, he actually lost all the HP on his shield right before it exploded. He was holding it. He didn't have much percentage left on his barrier, and it cracked right before the bomb went off. So any hope of trying to hold there was gone with the HP of the barrier. And looks like they'll be back for an early hold here on the Streets phase. However, the point and payload firmly in control of 4House right now.
Into the iris.
In comes the Transcendence. D.I.R.T isn't willing to wait for 4House to come to them. They're going to go to them. A very aggressive defense approach. I guess this is the best. Defense is a good offense. The Diva Bomb doesn't find anybody, but Nine grabs a double, and all of D.I.R.T is beginning to fall. So that stall all the way up on the payload really didn't do much, and results in the entirety of D.I.R.T being wiped. Just like that.
Overall, not a bad play strategically from the side of D.I.R.T. If you take an early fight like that, you've got 1, maybe 2 more fights in Streets phase here. So I think it's a fine call, and that early Transcendence is definitely valid. However, 4House definitely backed off correctly and kind of waited it out.
Dueling rallies here, giving both teams a tremendous amount of shielding. Tasty is the first to fall. Tactician ends their life. And that shatter is bubbled off and eaten. That shatter finds 1, but the capitalization comes in slowly. Onslaught goes down, but D.I.R.T loses their main tank. Maybe next time is gone, but the card isn't moving forward because Jack and Emotions are just kind of sprinting around shooting each other. Zan coming in to contest too. This is an interesting strategy. D.I.R.T is sending in 1 at a time to stall out the cart, but as each of them die, the team resets again and again.
Yeah, the strategy could be to stall the cart out just enough so that you can get another fight here, and it looks like it may have worked, but they will have to funnel through this barrier or through that choke way. It's not always optimal.
Oh boy, they all come in. Here comes the Diva Bomb right on top of the payload. It doesn't find anybody, but Nine goes down. That's the main tank of 4House gone, and each remaining member of 4House is being executed summarily by D.I.R.T. So we are going to see another team fight before the payload reaches the checkpoint. And Tactician dies late there. That's a bit of a stagger.
That was huge, actually. That early fight, using that offensive Transcendence at the beginning, and then the stall during like mid-Streets phase, allowed D.I.R.T to get 3 team fights there, which is almost unheard of in Streets phase of any map. Sometimes you get like a really scrappy third fight, but that was a pretty full-fledged third fight, if you ask me. So, in repayment, Dirt has 3, almost 4 ultimates. I'm sorry, 4, almost 5 ultimates to commit here, and they're going to be committing a lot as they're doing this final hold with 10 seconds left.
The rally comes in immediately. Jack is caught down, but manages to get the Diva Bomb off before anything else happens. That kind of zones 4House back a little bit. Transcendence comes in, and no one has died just yet with all of this damage and all of this sustain. Currently up on point. That Graviton constricts all of Dirt into one tight corner, and the hammer comes on out. It finally catches out Jiraiya, but Nainao is the first to fall. Jiraiya is the second. Tactician with a huge bomb. Tasty and maybe next time go down, and that's probably going to be cleanup duty for the remaining members of 4House.
Billiam did what Jiraiya did on first point. He stunned that Reinhardt. He stunned maybe next time out of the shield, which he was holding for that Diva Bomb, and just annihilated the whole team because of it. That was some heads-up play there. Both these Brigitte players have gotten a nice clutch stun for their team, so I'm pretty impressed. One thing to talk about for that, though, is the Zarya players have to save their bubbles for Diva Bombs and stuns like that. So that's on Storm and Onslaught if they want to protect their team. They have to save those bubbles for the Reinhardt while they're shielding.
They are both the Brigitte players putting on an absolute clinic tonight. Occasionally, Jiraiya getting caught a little bit out, like we see there, which is unfortunate, but otherwise doing tremendous work. Dirt there, all honestly, caught out and reset. The good news is they have time for at least one more team fight before this payload gets anywhere near the final checkpoint. Additional good news, they only have to hold for 30 seconds before the overtime rolls in. So let's see what Dirt is able to do. Maybe next time goes right on in. No fear. Starts swinging. Tasty takes down Billiam, and that's the key first peak. That's the Brigitte out of the way. Both Brigittas now out of the way. Graviton comes in. Transcendence comes in. The sustain is huge. The Shatter doesn't do nearly as much as they would have liked. But maybe next time is down. Things are going the way of 4House until Jack finds 3 emotions, Tactician and Nainao all gone. Everything suddenly goes back Dirt's way. The Graviton comes in to hold everybody back. They have to be careful about the back cap now. They can't C9 it. There's 2 remaining on the point, Cappy and Billiam. Cappy is gone. Billiam is almost gone. Overtime is reset. Tactician tosses in a huge bomb, but it's not going to find anybody as Dirt continues to frag out of their minds at the very end.
Jack with an absolutely insane bomb there, taking out a majority of the players of 4House, and that secures the hold there at the final part. Beats phase. And that was a really good. Unfortunately,
that is exactly the momentum you want on Dirt right now.
Yeah, Dirt has to be just ecstatic. They have to be super pumped right now for holding like that. Usually teams can get to the end of Hollywood, and maybe it's, maybe they made it to overtime or something like that. But this guarantees that we won't be going to that first point again if we go to, well, it guarantees that we're not going to another round of Hollywood. So, depending on the performance of Dirt here on the attack, this could be a tie game 1-1.
And it could, and I think Dirt is going to be able to carry this momentum coming into their turn on the attack here. So we'll see what we've got here. We aren't seeing Goats v Goats this time. We're seeing something that looks a little bit more reminiscent of a dive composition on the side of Dirt. Meanwhile, 4House is rocking standard Goats.
Standard Goats on the defense, and Storm running out here, on the Sombra. Chances are that they'll be out there to scout a little bit. Maybe stay on the Sombra if they saw, say, a bunker composition. But chances are, once they see Goats, the Storm will swap off. At least that'll be my prediction.
You willing to bet that we'll see them immediately? They already switched to Goats preemptively as soon as they saw them standing out on the top, shooting down into their spawn.
Yep.
Storm goes back, switches onto the Zarya, maybe next time, and Jack switch on to the Reinhardt.
And that's
oh, hello. Oh, they've changed back a little bit.
Oh, Storm gonna be staying on that Sombra, running Sombra Goats instead. Jack is going to be on the Zarya instead of the D.Va. So a very valid composition. Storm, though, has to be getting massive value out of this Sombra, because losing the D.Va is kind of critical for Goats. That defense matrix provides so much value and utility.
That it is, and no one has gone down just yet. Storm almost found a hack. They did find a hack, actually, onto Tactician, and Storm kills Billiam in the back line. That's going to make this a 6-on-5 fight, and let's see how they're going to capitalize on it. D.I.R.T pushes immediately in and elects to fight on the point. Jack kills Ninow, and as more picks roll in, D.I.R.T might have this one. They demech Tactician, kill Onslaught, and D.I.R.T very, very quickly is going to take objective A.
Storm just absolutely surgical in his precision of executing Billiam on the Brigitte. Just rolls into the backline, executes the Brigitte, and is able to make a 5v6 or 6v5 situation for their team. And they're gonna have that EMP fully charged up. He sees all of the Goats comp here clustered up in the backline, and so chances are they'll take an early EMP, and that's exactly what it is.
Oh, that's huge! Maybe next time shatters almost the entirety of 4House. Storm does get killed in the process, but it's not going to matter. Zan and Jack doing work. And Motions lives a little bit longer, but Tasty says nah. And that was 2 ultimates used. D.I.R.T still has 4 in the bank.
It's going to be 4 ultimates versus 5, and potentially close to 6 on the side of 4House. So it will be a difficult fight, but definitely good ultimate consumption there on the attack on the side of D.I.R.T.
And the fight begins, and there's a big shatter just out front of Whiskey Jack's saloon. This is intense combat. The Gravitons come in, restraining everyone's movement, but it doesn't matter. That shatter only finds Jiraiya, and Ninow is immediately made to pay for it for taking his shield. Ninow gone, Billiam gone, D.Va Bomb into the backline, finds absolutely no one. Tactician remechs quickly, but they are going to be one of just a few that remain. They are discorded and demech'd and put down, and this cart is going to continue to roll. The payload is going to get close to that checkpoint, but I imagine we'll see at least one more team fight before then.
Yeah,
well, then again...
Oh, there's 3 on cart, and it seems that D.I.R.T is in really good position to hold the door. That's the shatter up from maybe next time, and it's huge! He lands it on 3 squishies, taking out 2, and the point is taken during mid-fight. And that's, that is a clean run of Streets phase from D.I.R.T.
Maybe next time, finding tons of value on his shatters. I think we've seen him get a couple 5 or 6 man shatters so far just tonight. But taking a look at the ultimate bank outside of just the shatters, 3 over on the side of D.I.R.T with the Graviton, the Transcendence, and the EMP. 2, well, now 1 as Billiam pops the rally, but the hack is gigantic, and the Graviton follow-up is even bigger. We're getting Tactician is demech'd here, and that's 5 of 6 members of 4House utterly annihilated, and now all they have is Cappy with the Transcendence. Ninow is immediately hacked, and it looks like D.I.R.T is going to expend all of its remaining ultimates on this particular attack, and it's going to be enough. D.I.R.T takes map 2.
D.I.R.T looking absolutely dominant there with one of the fastest Hollywood runs I've seen. Flawless point on take on point A. Ninow contributing some huge shatters. This particular one right into the EMP combo. Actually, no. Oh, this is on their attack run. My mistake. Swinging into that Graviton Surge.
You love to see it, honestly.
Some excellent teamwork and focus fire here. You can see by the high percentages, 65% on the Lucio and 81% on the Brigitte, that most, if not all, of the folks on the side of D.I.R.T were focusing down the same targets, which is huge in that Goats composition. So that's one of the reasons that they were able to perform so dominantly, is because of that focus and discipline. There's one time, point A they were trying to take, and they were focusing down, I believe it was the D.Va. The D.Va was kind of separated from the rest of their team, immediately just stopped shooting any other target, turned to the diva in the stairwell and just melted her down. So that's what you like to see when you're running that triple.
Initiating match.
And we are going to be going, for the first time we've casted this week, all the way to map 3. I don't think we've do that. UGC Fatal Error asks, where are all the viewers at? And I've been wondering that myself, Fatal. We've had fairly small audiences these past couple of nights. Saw JJ and Quebec, I think. Quebec, Cabal. One of those two. They had like 28 viewers yesterday. I tuned in for a brief moment, but I don't know. Are we? Are you advertising us properly, Fatal? What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Fatal giving us the short end of the straw, I guess.
Yeah, man, he's just giving us a hard time right here. This is, we might need to renegotiate our contract.
He's second guessing all those zeros he added to our paychecks.
Yeah, he was intending for us to be the cash cow of the UGC League, but but now we've taken our money and our production value has just dropped. We don't need to be good anymore. We're getting paid, right? That's how this works.
Something like that.
Yeah. But besides that, looking back at the game, Jiraiya not playing the Brigitte, instead bringing out the Bastion, and D.I.R.T going full bunker composition against, I think we might see Billiam do a little bit of scouting, currently see a dive. I imagine that 4House might be expecting this bunker composition. That's why we're seeing Winston come on out here, amongst others.
Clinical tactician with a huge amount of defense matrix there.
Storm actually doing a respectable amount of work, destroying tactician and Billiam just like that. Onslaught goes down to Jiraiya, and well, that was a good hold from D.I.R.T. UGC Fatal in the chat. Oh sure, put me as the bad guy. I can only polish poop so much to make it seem appealing. Ah, wow, that was brutal. I am reeling in pain from that statement. All right, I might cry.
4House here setting up for another attack run. 9 jumping in, the full dive going in. Billiam trying to get that hack off, but instead hacked himself. And that is a little bit unfortunate as the kills are rolling in on the side of D.I.R.T. Storm able to get a little bit more value out of the Sombra than Billiam. And that Mercy res, exactly why Mercy is part of this team composition. The Bastion is kind of the damage output and the sacrificial lamb at the same time. He's allowed to kind of destroy the entire team, but then if he dies, no big deal. The Mercy just brings him back to life.
As Ivan Drago would say, if he dies, he dies. But that doesn't really have the same effect if you're essentially resurrectable.
True. And he's an AI robot, so you know, is he actually dying? He's just being disassembled.
I could get into my
down.
whole thesis paper thing right here, but I won't for all the viewers' sake. AI are people too, but that hack is gigantic. Jiraiya focused down first by 9 now. Jack finds Cappy on the Diva Bomb, but Onslaught immediately targets Zan. No bringing back Jiraiya this time, and a counter EMP comes on in, but it doesn't look like D.I.R.T's going to be able to capitalize too heavily on it. Maybe next time in Storm, the last fall, Jack is demeched, and Jack is punched to death by a giant enraged bee.
Jiraiya gonna be popping that Bastion ultimate before swapping over to the Brigitte. It's gonna be full-on goats, I would assume. I would imagine Storm swapping over. No, they're gonna stick with Winston Sombra goats. So a little bit of a variation on the theme. However, it looks like the side of 4House will actually be going full goats here. They broke through that bunker composition. They saw that Jiraiya swapped off the Bastion, and so with that, they swap on to goats themselves. So definitely need a little more sustain, a little more death ball for this final point here. And that's exactly what they're going for.
And they're going to be fighting over in the side instead of the main hallway. Storm... Pardon me. Yeah, Storm is in the back line. looking around, trying to find a cheeky hack, but not able to get close enough with 4House being excellently aware of what's going on behind them. And finally we start to see some people trickling out, and the fighting transfer out of the side room and onto the point. Tactician is hacked very quickly, but Emotion says, nah, I'm not going to kill my teammate today. Pops. Ooh, nothing there. Sound barrier, and Jiraiya is taken down by Onslaught. And there's another hack. William, Cappy, and Onslaught all caught out in it. Jack shoots William. Sand falls to Tactician. The D.I.R.T's doing a lot of work right now.
Definitely Tactician picking up the ball for his team there, but the kills finally rolling on the side of D.I.R.T as well. Ultimates looking pretty good on both sides. Both the Divas were demeched there in their team fight. Tactician gets it back, and he's got that bomb up. There'll be 5 ultimates up on the side of 4House when they decide to push in, versus only 2 on the side of D.I.R.T. So things could go very well. I don't see the rally or the Transcendence really stopping a wipe from, say, Tactician, but it could be good enough to stop this Graviton surge.
Oh man, that Diva Bomb is right in the middle of the Graviton. There's no way to avoid that. Zan goes down. But Jack trades out of the support on their own. Cappy is gone before Jack is demeched. And now things are still being traded off very evenly. Jiraiya going on a tear before maybe next time falls Storm. Finishes off William, and things look like they're going D.I.R.T's way right now. Only 3 members, 2 members, 1 member of 4House still up around here, and they're going to let Tactician get staggered so hard. Transcendence is on him and takes him down as they reach the relative safety of their team. It doesn't matter.
Not safe enough, unfortunately. Storm with that hack. You know, the Divas not really able to do anything out of suit anyway, but adding the insult to injury. The Discord Orb too strong. And Storm going to be setting up in the back line for an EMP, which means that could be a team fight over before it even starts. And we'll watch him kind of start this out. There it goes. Gets a massive 6-man EMP. The capitalization is there for maybe next time. The Winston jumping in and absolutely going ham. That's 2, 3 down, 4, and it's going to be quite the reset on the side of 4House.
And that was very, very short-lived offensive push, and now we see D.I.R.T in the position that 4House just was. D.I.R.T has 5 ultimates in the bank compared to only 2 on the side of 4House. 4House is getting fairly close to a full stack of all 6, though. It's just a matter of time.
That's true, but time is their enemy with only 1:30 left on the clock. They have to get some kind of percentage on this final point, and walking into this 5 stack of ultimate is going to be very difficult, especially considering D.I.R.T has the respawn advantage here. So, as they're rolling onto the point, look for some early ults to be committed. And there it is. There's the bomb coming in from the D.Va. Not able to find anything but zoning people out of the way. And the EMP rolling out 5-man from Storm.
But it's not really able to be capitalized upon just yet. Cappy's Transcendence finally goes away, and 9 now falls in turn. The Graviton comes in, but Tasty says, nah, I'm going to sustain the entirety of my team by myself. That allows maybe next time and Jack to find picks as soon as they are free of the force of gravity itself, and all that remains is poor Tactician. One more time.
Staggered again, no. Critically low health, has that mech up, eventually taken out, but that's going to be a stagger and down to 30 seconds. That means we're into 1-fight territory. Only one more chance to try and be able to take this point, and Billiam and Onslaught both used their ultimates during the last push. Those are 2 pretty valuable ultimates in Goat's team comp. So now all you have is that, all you have for sustain is the beat drop from Emotions, and then you've got 9ow's Primal, which can help keep him up. But those 2 may not be enough to try and break through this stronghold here.
I think it's ultimately going to come down to, well, here's everything kicking off right now. It doesn't even matter. The EMP comes in, prevents Tactician from launching that bomb, which could be a deciding factor in this point. Maybe next time finally pops his own Primal Rage for D.I.R.T. And this is a bit of a madhouse. Dual D.Va bombs to either side. Jack is the only one who capitalizes, ironically killing Tactician. Tasty and Jiraiya finding picks, and this might be the end. All that remains is Cappy as he runs away, and Emotions, who is taken down on the point overtime, shoots down to nothing. And D.I.R.T holds their second point.
Score.
And we'll take a look at the percentage here, but I don't think anything was captured. Yeah, that's right. So if D.I.R.T is able to capture this first point here, and they're able to capture any kind of percentage on the second point, it means they're going to be walking up with that fat W this evening. However, I would like to point out that this map is very drawable still. Chances are that first point will go the way of D.I.R.T. You know, I fully expect them to be able to break through whatever bunker composition that 4House throws at them. But the chances are that second point is going to be just as difficult as what we just saw. And so a fourth map is really not out of the question here.
I have a very legitimate question for you. I want your opinion on this. If you're taking a look at that second control point, do you think that it's a reskinned Eichenwald final point with some slight tweaks?
The second point?
Yeah, Eichenwald, the final checkpoint in the throne room.
I mean, I'd say there's some fair differences. What makes you think it's similar?
Well, you've got the central high ground, which is where the throne would be, and you've got the spawn points that come out on the left and the right side, going into slightly covered sections, prevent, say, a high diva bomb from coming in. It just reminds me a little bit of it, with a straightaway shot up the middle to get in.
Let's see. Alright, well, getting into this action again, 4House can be running that bunker. Surprising absolutely no one, least of all D.I.R.T. And they're prepared for it. They've got this Genji, they got the Sombra, and Billiam doing some spy checking there, decloaking the Sombra. So excellent discipline from him. Maybe heard that. And Emotions taking out Storm. That Immortality field coming up, and the Baptiste showing exactly why it's so important to play him in this composition. Everyone's just kind of melting down right now.
And we are seeing something that is not ideal for this composition. We don't have a Mercy over on the side of 4House, so reses for Billiam are not going to be happening. But it looks like it's worked out in their favor so far.
Cappy deciding to run that Zenyatta instead of the Mercy, and so what you get from that is the Discord and the Transcendence. However, what you lose is that Resurrect ability, and so I don't think Discord's particularly useful here because the Bastion is going to melt everything anyways. The Transcendence is a valid concern. You could want that, but the Mercy is kind of rough to lose.
Oh no, maybe next time Shield does not go where he wants it to at all, and Onslaught finds a quad really quickly. That's a super fast hard reset.
Onslaught with that Dragon Strike through the Baptiste damage amplification. Literally nothing to live through that. It's quite the combo there.
Devastating, as it were. Storm still hanging around the back line as the Sombra does get a little cheeky hack onto Onslaught, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough. But all of a sudden, D.I.R.T has forced all of 4House off of the high ground, maybe courtesy a little bit of Storm derping around back there. Jack is D-Mech though, and Billiam doing the damage he's supposed to. Cappy doing some work as well. And 4House runs right back out onto the point and re-secures their high ground.
Yeah, they gave up that initial high ground and looked like they were kind of pushed away from the point where maybe D.I.R.T could fight on point a little bit while 4House was on the back heel, but it didn't actually work like that, and instead Onslaught goes ahead and staggers Storm there, which is pretty rough. 5 ultimates on the side of D.I.R.T right now, which they may need every single one of those. It'll be most likely the EMP, the cloaked EMP into the bunker, and then the Nano Blade to clean up the kills. But Storm taken out early there is gonna put a halt on those plans. Only a minute left on the clock.
Storm is getting the raw end of the deal right here, time and time again, dying twice and delaying his team's ability to push in, but it's 5 ult v5 ult. 6 ult. Oh, pardon, 5v5. Ooh, Jack, that's big. Billiam goes down first. But Tactician says mine's bigger. Zan and Jiraiya both go down. Transcendence is popped. Maybe next time, though, he takes down Onslaught before he can utilize his dragons. Jack takes down Cappy, and things are going D.I.R.T's way right at the moment. Maybe next time finds another one. Jack destroys the damage amplifier. Or, pardon me, 9-Owl's ultimate, and finally, here come the dragons from spawn. But I don't think it's going to matter. Billiam is coming to sprint in and delay, though. Just a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. And D.I.R.T is going to capture the first objective in overtime, so there won't be a whole lot of time remaining for them to get even a portion of the next point.
It'll be 4 minutes, still quite a bit of time on the clock in order to capture 33%, but like I said, if not, we'll be going to a map 4 here to determine this best of 3 series. It looks like Storm will be in the backline, causing some more havoc. Billiam finds the D-cloak, using some slick spy checking. And for now, they'll get rid of that thorn in their side. I say storm in their side.
Ag. Tactician, the only one with an ultimate over on the side of 4House. 9 now, the main tank is immediately destroyed by maybe next time. And some Rhine on Rhine violence. Here comes that Diva Bomb, but it doesn't find anyone. Happy takes down Jiraiya afterwards. But Jack and maybe next time, the tank's doing the work. Tactician is gone. And this Zarya Reinhardt combo is leading the charge. And this might be it. There's only one remaining. This is cleanup duty. And D.I.R.T will take the evening.
D.I.R.T taking it cleanly, committing a lot of ultimates there at the end, and maintaining their momentum. Even though they were stopped cold in their tracks first point, they got that momentum and maintained it up through second point. Onslaught here. Take a look at him just absolutely murdering through this barrier.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god.
But that Dragon Strike through the damage amplification matrix is absolutely insane. Got some good stats here up on the board. But in the end, some really, really good plays.
Storm with 23 Flutters EMP. That's pretty good. Well, that took all of the 3 matches, as it were.
Yes, it did. All 3 of them. And honestly, some great play from both teams. That was a nail-biter up until the end. We saw a huge variation of team compositions, everything from goats to dive heroes. We saw a whole lot of Sombra. Both teams looking very comfortable on Sombra. Saw some decent Bastion play, some bunker compositions, and overall just a great evening of Intermediate League Overwatch.
Completely agree. It seems like with the addition of Baptiste, teams are a little bit more willing to play bunker compositions. So I think it definitely serves to increase what is considered meta on given maps.
Definitely. You got a whole bunch of variations, more situational heroes, which I enjoy seeing. You know, one map, maybe you'll see a Mei. Maybe the next map, you'll see a Moira. I enjoy having that kind of variety as opposed to running 3 tanks and 3 supports on every map.
And you know my opinion on the subject.
Indeed. But I believe we have reached the time of the evening where we give out MVPs to each team, and let's go ahead and start with the side of 4House. Who you got for MVP for them?
Now, I have 2 MVPs for both 4House and for D.I.R.T, and it's the same tandem for both of them. On 4House, it's Billiam and 9L. On D.I.R.T, it's Jiraiya and maybe next time. The Brigitte Reinhardt combos really wrote the story of the game tonight and were instrumental in every single push one way or another on the majority of the maps. Things changed a little bit when we got into bunker compositions and everything, but especially on the second map there, everything broke down and revolved around their individual play, and the Brigitte players especially fun to watch.
I think you summed that up extraordinarily well. Multiple team fights were turned, the tides were turned by those Brigitte players. And, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, Brigitte's so boring, blah, 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 no skill. And, you know, sometimes it feels like that. If you're, say, like, your flex DPS player and you're stuck on Brigitte, it definitely feels like you're in jail there. You know, not able to aim a whole lot, you're just kind of flailing around. But at the same time, you're able to rise to the occasion of making big brain plays and making smart assists for your team. And that's exactly what both of these Brigitte players did. Billiam, multiple stuns there that set up bombs for his team. And like you said, the same ISO. Excellent work from both of those. Even if they're not on maybe their preferred flex role, they are playing a vital team role, and it definitely showed while setting up for their team.
Very much agreed. Well, that's all from me tonight. You have anything else?
Nope, that is it, and that'll be it for UGC this week. But tune in next week for week 4. We'll have new teams going up, both or of all different ranks. We'll have Premier, Intermediate, and Beginner casting starting Monday evening. So if you guys are interested, go ahead and tune back in. But over the weekend, feel free to tune into OWL. Support your favorite teams there.
Indeed, and well, I guess good night.
All right, have a good evening, everyone, and thanks for tuning in.
Peace.